Hey guys, what's going on? This is Griever here, bringing you guys a kind of a different video right now because I'm still trying to get into the swing of this new channel and all that fun jazz. But right now, I just, on the weekend, on Sunday, I just watched the movie The Meg. That's that movie, the shark movie with Jason Statham. Now, alright. Yes, every big monster movie is a B movie. Just run out of the gate right away. Run right out of the gate. When I say that I really like this movie, or that I thought this movie was really good, I understand that this is in the context of what the movie is. You can't expect a movie like that to be above and beyond what it is, what it's capable of. It cannot be an Oscar-winning movie, no matter how good the performances are and such. The movie itself as an overall piece can only be as good as the material that's given. This is a B monster movie. It's a giant monster movie. Now, that out of the way, this is a very, very good B. This is a great B monster movie for fun. This is just a fun, very fun movie with good enough acting and a decent plot to keep you interested where it isn't totally unbelievable. Of course, there are some, action sequences and stuff that are a little far-fetched, especially towards the end. But overall, I really like this movie. Now, I just saw it a couple days back, as I said, and I am a huge Jason Statham fan. I think he's a baller. He's my boy. He is great. I really love that guy. But, alright, this will not be a spoiler-free review. Just giving you guys the warning now, and this will be a relatively short review. I'm not going to go over the whole plot or anything. I'm just going to tell you about a few key things that I liked and a few key things that I thought made or kind of broke the movie a little bit. So let's just get right into The Meg. Now, this was done correctly from the beginning of the movie. Trying to figure out that face of that billionaire right off the bat being Dwight from The Office, which is a show I was forced to watch by my lovely wife. That took me a little bit of like, who is that? Who is that? I know that face, but out of, the Dwight character, didn't really recognize him until a few scenes later. But the whole movie starts off correctly. It starts like a proper monster movie is supposed to, but it doesn't take away, it doesn't do that stupid thing. Here's the problem with a lot of monster movies right off the bat, is that monster movies, they try to keep the fear. You don't see the monster, it's just jump scares and it attacked, or you see a shadow or something, or it's too dark. You never actually see the monster until like the last 30 minutes of the movie, and then it's all chaos. It's balls to the wall, rules broken, just go for it. This movie did it correctly. Longer runtime than some B movies are, but this movie did it correctly. The shark is showcased, the megalodon is showcased many times. Enough times, full frontal, that you see the damn thing. It's intimidating. It looks great. I thought the CGI and everything was really top-notch on this film. Love all the scenes. Like, the action sequences were on par. Really enjoyed them. But you saw enough of them. But the beginning was hype. It was build-up. The very beginning of the movie, even before the whole Dwight mix-up, who is that guy? Who's this billionaire douchebag that I recognize? Jason Statham is already on the boat with trying to rescue these people from a submarine. Now, we know, of course, because you see the preview, it's the Meg. We know it's a megalodon, the biggest shark known to have ever existed. It's crushing this submarine that he's trying to save people out of, a nuclear submarine. He's trying to save these people. He realizes halfway through when this thing is crushing it that they don't have a chance in hell. Now that they've gotten up, he's going to have to leave some of his friends behind, his other fellow rescuers, and he's got a piece. So that sets the tone for the whole movie. Now we understand Jason Statham is a diver rescuer, kind of like the whole Kevin Costner thing in The Guardian. He's a top-notch dude, but he jumped the gun and people are not going to believe that something managed to crush the outside of a nuclear submarine so easily and impounded the side. No one's going to believe that, and that's basically the premise of the movie. There's a crazy research facility. It's all about Mariana's Trench and it not being the bottom of the ocean. Well, it is, but they haven't truly found the bottom of Mariana's Trench. One of the deepest parts of the Mariana's Trench in the ocean is actually a layer of hydrogen sulfate gas sort of idea. It's a pocket layer of gas that is not the actual true ocean floor, and you can actually go below it. This is proven to be a correct theory very early on in the movie, so we don't waste a bunch of time. We get in, of course, what happens? They discover it's a crazy ecosystem. We know it's the shark. We don't see the shark, once again, doing the classic big horror movie thing, but it's a shark. We know it's the shark, and they are trapped. They're not dead. Initial people that go down are not dead, but they're trapped underneath, down in Marianas Trench. They're trapped below the surface. Somehow, this crazy origin friggin' submarine thing is able to sustain them and still have oxygen and, proper pressurized stuff, even being bashed all around by the shark. Now, throughout the movie, we are introduced to a multitude of characters. No one that we're given a lot of screen time to. It shares the camera very well with a whole array of different characters. Eventually, of course, Jason Statham gets involved. Apparently, it's his ex-wife down there in the origin submarine thing that was exploring. And he goes down. What do they find? The Megalodon. So it's only now, once again, I just watched the movie, guys. I didn't time it or whatever. But we spent a good chunk of the movie knowing the build-up. We got good hype, good build-up. And then they waste no time going, this is a damn shark. There's not that whole stupid plot line where no one believes in, the killer or the serial killer in the B movies or the whole big monster. There's the giant spiders and no one believes it until the last 30 minutes of the movie. No. They see it and they go, damn, it's a megalodon. And Jason Statham just says right away, holy shit, it's a megalodon. So they already know that it's one of the biggest sharks ever, up to between 75 and 90 feet, apparently. Now, that's massive. Jaws was 25 foot, give or take. This thing is 75 minimal. It's 3 of him. That's, geez. So, anyways, the plot once again goes on, and we see a lot of. I like the idea that they tried to scientifically explain this with sub-zero temperatures, living fossils. We have discovered multiple living fossils every couple of years. So the more we discover the ocean, the more we find things that we thought were extinct. We don't have a complete animal catalog of every species still left on the face of the earth, people. We're still human. We're still discovering new species. And the Megalodon has just been down there because once again, the hydrogen gas, the sub-zero, all that stuff, that was plausible. To a person that's not an oceanographer or someone that, understands, like a Sheldon Cooper with a vast amount of knowledge sort of idea. I'm no Stephen Hawking here, guys. I have no eidetic memory, something like that. So I'm not a genius or anything like that. So for me, the science explained in the movie did not feel like a tacked on, like, here, read this entire thing of dialogue so you understand, you morons. But it also was believable enough that every one of the characters kind of understood, and it was enough for the viewers to understand the science behind it to make enough sense. Like, okay, well, I understand a gas layer. Okay, that kind of makes sense. It's a weird phenomenon, but it can happen. And the whole idea that when the explosion happened, when the original origin submarine blew up and they saved them, but the Megalodon was around and they went, we escaped. They created a vacuum from the underwater explosion that punched a hole through this gas line. Once again, as an electrician, I've worked with, gas lines and propane lines and stuff like that, heating lines, and I can see a potential thing there. Yes, heat versus cold, sparks, ignition, all that stuff. Combustion, that is a big thing. So, though I don't know for certain if that's possible, depending on the type of gas, it made enough sense to me with my layman's terms. Okay, so they created an air pocket. And the Megalodon managed to come up, that's been dormant down there for God knows how many years. And it came up there. And now it's up there, and then we get the whole, this is where the movie really kicks off. Okay, here's the Megalodon, here's his full frontal shot in front of the little girl that we saw in the trailer, and he chews on the thing, tries to break the glass, doesn't break the glass, and then it just goes from there. Then we have the classic, okay, man versus shark. it can't do this. Shark cages like Jaws, shark trackers, try to kill it with this, poison it with that, all that fun stuff. But it was done well, guys. This was not so much a Jaws ripoff. The end part of the movie was. But this part was quite original as far as a shark movie goes. We had Jason Statham in the water, trying to attract it in a way, trying to just track it and stuff, and the whole like T-Rex sort of thing from Jurassic Park, like don't make any movement, the shark won't care. It's not so bloodthirsty. If you're not bleeding or whatever, it doesn't care. It's looking for movement to eat. Yes, it's a hungry, angry ass predator, but it's looking for the movement. So if you just float with the, coast with the ocean waves, should be fine. It was very tense scenes that I thought were done really well with this whole cast of characters. Now, once we passed through all we tracked it and we poisoned it and, all that stuff, and the shark cages and all this fun jazz. Now, the whole shark cage thing, I wanted someone to mention Jaws when he talked about it, because Jason Statham looks at this big plastic shark cage and he just goes, no, I don't like it. I wanted someone to mention Jaws. Like, yeah, has no one seen Jaws? Remember what happens when you put a person in a shark cage when it's shark waters? You don't do that here. Like this thing, the fact that they don't understand, I mean, I get the whole, okay, this thing would need X number of tons of pressure in its jaws to be able to even dent this thing. I understand the concept and what they think they know, and at least they stuck to that. No, the shark could not crush it by the looks of it. It nearly swallowed the whole damn cage. Instead, like it was a snake or something. It was like, I'll digest you later. I can't bite through you, I'll swallow you. So that was, once again, a little bit of ingenuity. A little more thought just put into the action sequences. Just a little more time spent going, the whole, the shark, everyone underestimates the thing, that's boring. Let's have these proper oceanographers and PhD level people actually consider, no, we're not going to underestimate that thing. We understand its destructive capability, but it's still a shark. Here's what we have. Here's what it's actually capable of. This is not a Godzilla movie. This thing is not an unknown species with unknown potential. We know its potential. Like, another great scene to showcase this, one of the doctors, Dr. Hellman, something like that, they talk about what can take down an orca, I believe. I believe they talk about a killer whale or a humpback whale or something, a very large whale, something not the equivalent to the size of this thing, but at least here's the size of a bigger mammal than a great white, like a big whale. And they're like, all right, this thing, this is X number of cc's of this, 10 of these puts this thing under, 20 kills it. How many do you think we need to take down the 75-foot monstrosity fossil? And the doc goes, why even question that? Use the whole damn bottle. Like, you're trying to kill it. This isn't one of those, let's preserve the animals. No, this thing is a man-eating machine. Let's pump it full of as much toxin as we have on the boat. Then, well, at least we know we pumped as much as we could. Not one of these, let's put 10 cc's in them. That should have knocked him out. Well, it didn't. None of that. These are oceanographers, paleontologists, these are PhD level people in this field. They should know this, and at least we're seeing parts of that. The cage was not breakable by the jaws of the megalodon. And also this toxin, when speared, did kill it. It poisoned it, and the poison worked very fast, and it did kill this shark. Finally, someone's not underestimating people that are trained to know how to take these things down. It actually worked out. It actually paid off. I was like, so the thought, once again, just going back towards my original thought there, is the planning, the just extra time, and the little bit of just thought process into thinking, okay, that's an easy out. But let's think, what would you do? Like, what is this thing truly capable of? And what would people, understanding exactly that this is a shark 3 times the size of a great white and is a living fossil of ancient powerful, destructive proportions, what can it do and what can it not do? And what can take it out? All these great, and nothing felt unbelievable until towards the end. Now after this, big reveal, guys, so once again, spoilers if you aren't spoiled enough. Now I kind of missed this part. I was eating some popcorn and stuff. My buddies noticed it and thought it was a really great line, and they understood. I'm going to go back to this in a second. 2 sharks. Alright, so there's 2 of them. And this one is significantly bigger. This is the 90-foot megalodon. They grabbed this friggin' 75-foot thing that they've poisoned and killed and think they all got away scot-free with only a handful of deaths. They have this thing on the boat. How this little boat, this is unrealistic to me, how this little boat has this thing on deck and isn't going like this, to me is a little ridiculous. This is a 75-foot, like, anyways. Regardless of that, maybe that is possible. I don't know. But this bigger one comes out of nowhere, eats one of the scientists, eats, I think, well, 2 of them. In the end, in this scene, like 3 people die, plus it eats the body of the other megalodon. Okay, 2 things about that. Number 1, the line that I missed, that I talked about, that I was eating popcorn, my friends noticed and they thought it was badass. Jason Statham says something about teeth. I know the scene, I just kind of missed what he said. He was talking about the bite pattern. He noticed the megalodon's teeth were either too long or bent or something about them, and he remembered the bite pattern, I believe, from the glass or something like that. Anyways, he recognized that the teeth marks are wrong. And that's when the bigger one comes up with the proper teeth marks sort of idea. That this one, so the thing is that even though I didn't know it at the time, and I went, another one, what the hell? Because the whole time I'm expecting this other one to wake up and chomp down on Buddy's head when they're playing around with the camera, like, put your head in its mouth. I expected this one to somehow still be alive, and that's when we'd go into B-movie monster territory, and even though they pumped it full of CCs and had it out of the water, it's still kicking because it's the mother of all sharks, the ancient, powerful beast. Nope, they stuck to that realistic thing. They pumped it full, it's on the boat, it's dead. But then the other one comes up. Okay, really like that scene and stuff, but remember when I was talking about the whole, and this is kind of why I went into detail about the beginning of the movie and the whole hydrogen gas thing, and they created a highway for the megalodon to come up, the explosion caused a vacuum of the sub-zero temperatures and all that stuff, so that it rose. They said that about easily for 20 sharks to fit through. And then it was closed off now. When I heard that, I was like, 20 sharks. I'm like, there's not going to be 20. But there's going to be, it's either going to be, a baby and a mother, or there's going to be, either way, there's going to be more than one. There's going to be more than one megalodon. And I thought at the time they were going to play this whole, like, they tracked one when they talked about the tracker. They'd have a tracker on one, but you could clearly see that no one noticed there was another fin in the background or something. And they're like, why don't they notice the tracker? They're like, oh, it isn't on scale yet or something like that. It's not on GPS locator yet. I thought they were going to play the whole, they couldn't, like, you wouldn't understand why the tracker's not responding sometimes and other times it is because there's been 2 sharks the whole time. But no. There was 2 sharks. It's just that they clearly just went after one, and then the second one came up, and there was 2 sharks the whole time. It's just Statham said the teeth marks don't match up, sort of idea. This is where we get into Jaws territory. Okay, this is where we get into the big Jaws thing. Now, I'm still liking the movie, but this is where it goes very Jaws. This thing somehow, and here's where the realism starts to wane a little bit. They want to kill this thing because it's a danger, and it's headed towards a beach. Why? Maybe I missed a line, but why all of a sudden is this thing headed towards the coastline? And there's no way you can convince me that this 90-foot-long shark, this massive thing, would go so far inshore to kill all these people on this beach and do the Jaws thing. Like, I understand maybe further out, some of them, but the fact that no one could get into shore on time, I understand this is a super crowded beach in China or somewhere, Shanghai, Thailand, something like that. and it's one of the most popular beaches, and there's hundreds and hundreds of people in the water. But the fact that they're that far out when we clearly see them just like floating around and like, I don't know, like 25, 50 feet from the shoreline, or at least from, walking through the water, that megalodon would not go that far to the shore. It would end up killing itself. If no one understands what a beached whale or something is, sharks can beach themselves as well. That thing is not going to go that far inland. And how would it even know to go that far? Like, I don't understand the whole, why is it headed this way? Does it smell it? Like, it seems so convenient that this thing that was down in Mariana's Trench for God knows how long, for its entire lifespan, however long this thing's been alive, finally comes up to the surface, is 200 miles offshore, and just goes, oh, I need to hit the shore. That thing that I've never seen in my life, that thing that is a total unknown to me, this whole, what's this sun thing doing up here? That's another thing. I understand that maybe it would take a while for it to adapt, but you're telling me that going from the sub-zero temperatures below the ocean to this temperature, like being on the surface level, this long, like, it's a while. It's more than a day this thing is out here. You telling me that wouldn't shock the shark system? Maybe they're more adaptable. I didn't do any research on the shark, and God knows what a megalodon would truly be capable of. We only have fossils and theories and as much information as we can from a fossil. But like, I find it a little hard to believe that this thing could go from sub-zero, swim all the way up, I forget how deep it is, like 11,000 feet or whatever it is, come all the way up, and totally fine, still a killing machine, doesn't mind not trying to swim deeper down, any further, and like the temperature change isn't affecting it drastically and quickly. I find that very interesting. So maybe that's a flaw with the movie once again, but still, once again, B movie, crazy good with the action and stuff like that, and Jason Statham fighting a shark at the end, basically with his bare hands. Like, come on, man, that was just cool. That was just, man, that made the movie. That was awesome. I like, every scene with him was just really, really good. They didn't overdo the love story. The characters were fine. Enough character death to get you still invested that the shark could potentially win in the end, but not enough that it ruined all the cast and you only have that one survivor sort of thing, like Jaws. Two in the movie survived. So I liked the movie overall. I found it a little long, but the pacing of the movie was really well done. Enough lighthearted moments and enough, okay, here's our calm scene mixed with a little bit of shark tension. Here's our action scene. Like, the pacing was really good, but I felt like this movie really was split into three parts. We had Cloverfield done properly, sort of, or Godzilla or any of those kaiju movies. You don't see the monster sort of idea. You had that was part one. Then when they escape, you had part two, where they kill, where this thing is attacking them. Well, it's both sharks, really, as we find out later. But this thing is attacking. It's come to the surface. They go on the boat. They try to track it and kill it and all that stuff. Then they kill it. That's part two. Then part three is the twist where there's a second shark. It's bigger, it's badder, it's meaner. It kills the other shark, kills half the main cast, and now they have to, and this thing is about to swim inshore to try to murder as many people on this beach as possible, and they have to kill a second shark. To me, it felt like three almost separate films, but that's how an original movie was. You had intermissions. You have 3 acts. 3 acts to a play. Sometimes 5 with these bigger plays and stuff, but 3 acts. You have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You have 3 defining things. It's like a trilogy, the Star Wars trilogy. Take a trilogy, a properly planned trilogy, that being said, not one of these ones like Matrix and stuff, or Pirates of the Caribbean where you had one standalone that was successful enough to make 2 more. No. A real trilogy, a properly planned trilogy. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, things that had here's our beginning with a victory, here's our second part where it seems like at the end it seems like the most dire circumstances, black hole, never get out, and then the third act, the heroes win in the end, even though at the end of part 2 we thought it was the most bleakest of moments. Then at the end of part 3, the heroes win. Classic done pacing of a movie. It was refreshing, and for a B movie, once again, I can't stress enough the amount of thought and effort put in to actually making this movie viable and being just that little bit better than, yeah, it's a B monster movie, but guess what? It's a damn good B monster movie. Enjoy it on its merits. Enjoy it what it's there for. That's all I can say, guys. I really enjoyed it. At the very end, I do wish that we almost had that, follow the 90-foot one down to the bottom and realize that it opens its eye or something. Or we go all the way down when the credits are going under the sea or whatever. I felt like we were supposed to go back down to the Marianas Trench and see a whole school of them, 3 or 4 more swimming around, and then at the very end, have one kind of look at the screen and I thought that would be cool. The whole time I was waiting for the credits to roll to get that kind of, okay, where's the shark? Where are we going to see there's a third one or more of them down there? Just to kind of leave the door open for a sequel, but not necessarily just have that fear that they got rid of 2, but Megalodon is still down there. The ocean is still a dangerous place with monsters. Really thought that they should have that. Really thought that would have really tied things up in a neat little bow. Just there at the end for people who stay for the credits. The credit scenes is a big thing since the MCU has been doing their thing. It's almost become a staple for every movie to do. I wasn't looking for a bonus scene. I was just looking for that one little tidbit that there's another one. But other than that little gripe, guys, the rest of it, as I said, really good movie. Great for just a fun movie for anybody who liked Jaws and anybody who enjoys things like the campiness that is Lake Placid or any of the Dark Waters movies, the Python movies, Anaconda. Those movies with the reptile or the animal or whatever that's larger than life, bigger than it's supposed to be, and goes on a killing spree. This is well acted with a great cast of pretty damn good actors, I'll say. I thought they did a really great job. The action scenes, the pacing, cinematography, the CGI, the shark was intimidating, looked really realistic. I was nervous at points to see it. Really cool. Go check it out, guys. Anyways, that's the end of my review of The Meg. What did you guys think of my review? And what did you think, if you already saw the movie, what did you guys think of it? Do you disagree with what I said about pacing or the characters or whatever? Or do you think that I'm totally right and you're like, wow? Or are you in that third party where you haven't seen the movie but now I've convinced you to go see it? If I've done that, let me know down in the comments section down below and tell me once you've seen it if you agree or disagree. I hope I've convinced a few of you to give this movie a chance. Go see it. I thought it was really well done. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment. As always, guys, this has been Griever with his new channel and starting up with new videos here and there. And we'll see where it goes from there. So anyways, guys, this has been Griever, as always, signing off. See you later.